Welcome back. Right now, state lawmakers at the Capitol are considering a bill to prevent a growing threat that may be hard to see, but it's one that is hitting your pocketbook. Jennifer Hoff explains.
What do lobsters and Guy Fieri have in common? Thieves who last year stole a nearly $500,000 shipment of the seafood bound for Minnesota and hijacked 2 semis full of the chef's tequila.
The bad guys are very sophisticated.
Called strategic cargo theft, the state's trucking association president says targets the supply chain.
We have to put up better mechanisms and better ways to collaborate so when something happens we can share best practices and stay ahead.
John Huslowden says criminals expose vulnerabilities in the industry's online systems, using identity theft and fraud to pose as legitimate companies with real trucks to win bids and then vanish.
The quorum is present.
He and other experts now working to pass a bipartisan bill to stop it, starting by creating an advisory board to coordinate a quicker response all across the state.
This isn't occasional shoplifting. What we're seeing is coordinated, repeat activity. But connecting those incidents across cities and jurisdictions is extremely difficult.
Karin Tapero is a local store manager who says 17 states have already implemented a similar approach. Without it, could mean business closures and higher prices for families.
This bill helps us move from reacting to individual incidents to addressing organized criminal networks.
Trying to build momentum for Minnesota and put a stop to such modern criminal activity.
There's enough stress in doing trucking. We don't need that.
The advocates hope to build on the state's financial crimes task force, a similar model they say would work well here. They say that the bill was heard in a House committee already this month, and now they are just waiting for a hearing in the Senate. So hopefully, they say, it will eventually be bundled into a larger omnibus bill with a starting cost of a few $100,000. Also happening right now, a group of residents are suing the Minneapolis Police Department for not having enough officers. They are asking a judge to force Mayor Frey to meet a police staffing minimum that is already written in the city charter. Gordon Severson has the details.
UMLC is here today to announce the filing of a lawsuit.
The Upper Midwest Law Center first filed a lawsuit against the city of Minneapolis in 2020, where the Minnesota Supreme Court ruled that Minneapolis must maintain a police department with at least 731 officers.
We are here today to vindicate that hard-fought and righteous victory.
Rachel Paulos, a former U.S. attorney for Minnesota, is leading the lawsuit, and she says over the last few years, the city of Minneapolis has never come close to having enough officers.
At latest count, we're down over 100 people.
According to the UMLC's legal filing, the Minneapolis Police Department employed 835 officers in early 2021, which was above the Supreme Court's required staffing level. Less than a year later, however, that number dropped to 627, and the number of officers has stayed in the high 500s to low 600s ever since.
I don't even bother calling the police because I know it's going to be irrelevant to them.
Ron Peterson is one of 4 Minneapolis residents who are named in the lawsuit, and he says he has been the victim of several crimes and says every time he called police for help, he was told they didn't have the staffing to send an officer.
I've lost $10,000 out of my garage through theft. I had a hit and run incident that happened. That caused another $18,000 damage.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara has long voiced concerns about staffing at the police department.
We've gotten 40% smaller than we were 3 years ago.
We're trying to do everything we can with the staffing that we can.
The department has dealt with decreased staffing.
The city's budget has also been an issue. During 1 month of Operation Metro Surge, police say they spent $5.3 million on overtime pay, which is already 2 times higher than the amount the department had budgeted for the entire year.
We reached out to the city of Minneapolis for a response, and here's what city leaders had to say.
In a statement sent to KARE 11, the city of Minneapolis rejects allegations that the number of police officers has been suppressed. According to the city, the police department currently has 617 sworn officers, plus 32 officers currently going through the academy. And leaders claim that the city is on track to have more than 700 officers in 2027. The city leaders also say that they have invested $2 million in the MPD recruitment campaign over 2 years. Paulo says they're not doing enough.
There are ways to incentivize any position to attract qualified people. And so whether that means providing more benefits or providing flexible schedules or increasing salaries or providing a certain kind of training, there are ways to incentivize.
New today, the University of Notre Dame announced a big change to its undergraduate program. The university will now cover the cost of tuition for students who come from families with an annual income below $150,000. Families with an annual income below $200,000 will receive financial aid covering half the costs, while families earning below $60,000 will receive financial aid covering tuition, books, fees, housing, and also food. These changes come as an expansion to an initiative that was launched in 2024 when the university committed to becoming a need, blind, and loan-free for all students. Now to some good news for some dog owners. Researchers in Finland found that dogs help boost their human's immune system. They say when your dog moves or scratches, it sends a little burst of pollen, bacteria, and fungi into the air. It's not good to think about, but this actually helps expose our immune systems to smaller traces of these allergens, building immunity over time. They say it's especially beneficial for children. Stick with us. We got more news and some weather coming up after the break.